teams, this is going to be far more easier to hit these rotates. There are going to be less players. And Martin, because Stalwart is holding a really strong position for themselves. Best thing that Vampire could possibly do is try and take out some of the squad members of Box, but back in that last game, they're feeling confident, already taking down Schweppes.
Oh, Tiamba, 2 knocks sent their way. Reject Tokyo trying to eliminate them from this shack. More preoccupied with getting the flushes, in fact, actually, for Reiji. Doesn't maybe know exactly where the opponents are standing, but he breaks out and tries to make something happen against Reject Tokyo, but it's not going to go through. 2 players from Reject Tokyo knocked in the meantime, but they managed to take control of the shack and have a little bit of rest.
North side push, and I think getting rid of Reject just after Tiamba's fallen, that'll be a very nice position for Gladiators to start pushing towards that northern side. ALPHA7 move in, but easy. Already finding 1.
1 for 1 on the trade as the rest of ALPHA7 move through. Twisted Mind. Yielded area that it encircles Blank is so open. It can house about 2 teams in the hayfield, in the hay barns. 2 or 3 maybe if they're lucky, but then they are sitting ducks for everybody to shoot at.
Yeah, you kind of have to wait for it to confirm itself up towards that northwest side before you really take it.
6th place, 29 points. Nothing stand out from them just yet, but certainly still there. Box, however, kind of the flip side. We saw that in the last Erangel, earning 23 points, 13 elimination game.
Dami moves off the top side, very low. Most likely will fall there, and he does. Reiji have to pick up that kill. Gets the elimination.
Box trying to push in behind Stalwart. Just trying to keep this one out. Action, ooh, going very low and finally knocked out by Duck. A force to be reckoned with on that previous Erangel, but Tony K sits his teammate down from Vampire to suppress the ridgeline. Fireflux, however, are chiming in, and both teams have third parties to worry about, seemingly. It's not fantastic, but the spray is good, and Gosu under a lot of pressure here. Reload comes through, and the UMP finally finds the mark. Took a little bit too long for their liking. Duck launches a nade, doesn't quite get the knock in response, and the flush hasn't come through just yet. Stalwart getting the worst end of this deal. 1 player down from Box, and there's only 1 still active. Icy on the ridgeline spotted. Really hot stuff from Duck again. Playing strong for Box Gaming. Now with the blue at his back, needs to put pressure on. Spray to the legs, 15 bullets in the mag. DBS is there as the secondary, needs to close the distance before swapping. Gets it out now and has got that advantage in this close range trade, but the blue zone's tickling. It's doing more than that. And it is Vampire to chime in as well with the points. Stalwart on the east side, stay alive.
Desert the player to watch over on Stalwart. It certainly is so. Able to get his team out of a sticky situation, but their power has been drained like the color out of Top's hair. A little unfortunate. Alter Ego do move in with 2 to scout out the position from 628. In the meantime, Kitsune taking shots over towards EK, but another team chiming in that we talked about earlier. It's Infinity IQ.
Meku to try and keep his IGL safe. Kitsune crawling back behind the headland. The blue zone, 20 seconds to move. Infinity IQ eliminated in the meantime, and Kitsune can get rest here. No threat from that southwest side. A lot of cover found. Now, can the rest of Gladiators move in? Because there is not a lot of cover forwards. There's not a lot of positions that aren't
playing the high ground, which is why you haven't seen 628 employ that position yet, because still some of this high ground on the ridge is available. But as we push into that third ring game, that's when it's going to become very influential. Rules takes down
1 player for both of the top 2 teams, and Fireflux do have to push in a little bit further. There is a chance for them to come out swinging from that southeast side. The Gladiators to contend with ahead of them. The remnants of D plus Kia, two of their players still alive. Oh, this is nasty from Satan. Hiding in the building with the Grozer as well. Swaps out to the M4. Just gets both of them. Brutally trying to keep Ketch and Lutz safe. Nade still, though, sending in a Tixie. Even closer. Matic launching forwards. Tixie given that platform to springboard through. 3 players from Fireflux are down, and Tony K chiming into the fight. They'll hear those Mini 14 ring across the hills and get to cover where they can. Tixie goes in for the backup as well, and Fireflux with 1 player still alive. Not going to be too much of a threat on their flank. The crawl back from Solke slowed down, in fact, dispatched by Reiji.
Such a funny position that Tony K is playing, because you see so many teams actually head up there and get a lot of success from this position, especially when the circle's a little bit further towards that northeast side. What he can do is just pick up eliminations from this spot. He's fully aware that he's not going to get a very high placing finish here, but what he can do is steal away some of those points. Killer also in a similar situation, but he's got way more players on side. Matic takes a tumble.
Kitsune is in position to try and go for this res. The ridgeline is pretty solid for cover from this high ground, even with the elevation that DRS are operating with. DRS moving into a 2-2 split. Gladiators know how to play this position as well that DRS are in. They are aware of the threat points. They know where has cover from it, because this is their normal drop spot. Moving down from La Cabrera into this area is some of their bread and butter rotation play.
Still taking shots here. A lot of bullets for this Mini 14. Pulls out the scarf. Oh my goodness me!
Pulls him out, wrestles him to the floor, and Giante's not getting away with that one. Out in the open though, he's got pretty happy knees there, being able to wibble and wobble his way around to stay alive a little bit longer. He's had enough. Tony K though expending a lot of ammunition, and in fact his life, to get that flush.
Yeah, frustrated, slamming the desk there. And it's fair play. I think right now for Gladiators, realistically, they just need to wait for these players to come off the high ground, and then they can start thinking about assaulting this position that 628's holding. They just want to get rid of these angles before they move in. A lot of teams down towards that south side, though, and Meku, on his approach, gets exploded in the vehicle. Luckily, it's just a knock. It is resable.
And they have the cover to do so. Reject Tokyo can't swing onto this position with Falcons in the way, with ALPHA7 just over that ridgeline as well. The main fight for me, as you talked about just now, Blank, is Gladiators into 628's position.
Yeah, realistically, it's the winning play for Gladiators. Unfortunately, this spot is quite difficult to assault, especially at this late in the game. I think their main boon is the fact that 628 only have 3 players. So moving on to that spot, it's not as covered as it could be. But again, those angles you gain from this building, which is such a prolific compound here on Miramar, is really, really big. And moving across this road with the sightlines coming down from the teams on that southwest, like Team Falcons, Reject Tokyo, as well as ALPHA7, that's what makes it tough.
Reject Tokyo healing up, getting ready to make their move. Reiji, unfortunately, takes a lick of damage there. That might slow his roll just a little bit, but they don't really have too much time to worry about that. 5 eliminations so far, sorry, 8 eliminations for Reject Tokyo. Miscounted there on this game already. So they've been successful no matter what. With 6 teams remaining, they'll want to ladder up a little bit further.
I mean, getting the hydraulic press between Team Falcons and ALPHA7 is never an ideal situation though. And the best they can hope for is for both these teams to take shots towards one another, just scare them off from this position. And now it's confirmed. That compound is a winning play. 628 have been so happy with the move that they made up towards this position from San Martin. ALPHA7 though, Carrillo steps into the fire just a little too close.
Gets burnt, forced back. Reject Tokyo taken so low, but they can just get these heals up. Falcon may be looking to actually move further out and in for a third party. ALPHA7 with Carrillo down, maybe looking to move forwards and get this res, but the nades from Falcon are trying to get a third party onto both of these teams. Pretty prime real estate for them, but the damage hasn't really been done either way to facilitate that for Falcons.
DRS in the meantime move up towards that compound in the center. Reject take a knock towards Sarah. ALPHA7 look fairly healthy. Carrillo got just a little bit too close, right? And I mean, the hair gel, it is quite flammable.
Ooh. Reiji taken low, but his teammate not so lucky. 2 players now for Reject Tokyo. Delta also, DRS, sorry, from the northern side for DRS, trying to move in. 628 rebuffing them as Reject Tokyo getting cleaned up on the southwest side, unfortunately. Their run will be drawn short, but they did get a whole helping of points there. Gladiators, they're swinging out wide. They're not going into the compound blank. We thought that was the winning play, but they move out and go for a third party. It is a refreshed Gladiators playbook, and they are playing it to a T.
I mean, you would have thought they'd go for the third party between DRS and 628 whilst their attention was compromised, but they think that this position and the side swipe is way more important. Nade actually a little bit closer on the smoke goes down, and ALPHA7 sent away. Matic out into the blue will swing back towards a position they know is clear. Now it's just one team. I think they're going to rock back up towards their original spot on that eastern side. Ooh, really smart stuff. 628 move out. This was much needed from them. The respite that they got from hearing that third party, they just wanted to clear up the remaining players. The north side of their compound now just kill it, nowhere near to assault them. All the smokes are through and they go for the crash with the DBS. No one's down as of yet. Matic
leaps up to avoid the licking flames at the heels, but Tixie's down in the meantime, flushed as well. And Yang now pops another molly out the side. Groza in hand, and it's just the one player for the Gladiators alive. The crash has gone catastrophically wrong for them. Matic tries to drop, but it will not be enough. All three of 628 survive, and now ALPHA7 can start to march forwards, but Mafioso down. These Cenetex are going for the res. They have to delay somewhat, but they can push in now.
That is an incredible move from him. They'll get a full resupply from the Gladiators side. Killer getting shot out from underneath the vehicle itself. Sunan taking those shots. But Carrillo picks up easy from that side. Oh. This is not good.
ALPHA7 able to get an opening knock, but Yang
one again
on such a huge side swipe, slows Revo down. Now turning attention to the backline, but there's a teammate already pushing forward. Cenetex drawn short out in the open, has to just go completely raw into this fight.
Gets the cross. Fire.
Oh, Yang one, perfect on the timing. And two players fall to the scope. Carrillo now under pressure, and Yang one on a mission to try and take down ALPHA7 single-handed.
No
finally falls, but the health bars are blinking. And now can 628 pull it back together? They got the res. Sunan playing around this door frame. They reposition and they have got the center. Breaks out wide and Sunan's forwards. DBS in hand, but it's cut down. And Revo turns the tables again. Now on the back lines, they're looking for one more, but it's denied yet again. 3 eliminations found. And they want the res. They slow down the fight. Carrillo has the off angle. Groza to try and stop it. He knows he's there. Burns him out of position. Lights his feet on fire, and he has to tear to the back of the warehouse. Vehicles as cover, and Carrillo desperately trying to keep his team alive, allow them to get the res. They have been able to get it on board. Mafioso and Revo now very healthy. One player stands for them, and Revo swings in through the door, out into the blue, and out.